Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are here for the pre-debut era of 방탄소년단. So we have a compilation of various different dance practices and tracks that the group were posting onto the YouTube channel prior to the actual debut, and we're even going to finish out the video by looking at their debut trailer, which I'm really excited for. Is there always something out there that could also contribute to pre-debut? Yes, we're just going to focus on these for today to get us an idea of what we're going to be looking forward to in movement quality for a lot of them going into the actual debut of the group. So let's go ahead and get into it. First up, it's Daktu by Rap Monster.
Big Kid exclusive.
I love the fact
방탄소년단. I'm Rap Monster.
we didn't change it to RM.
I got no rights to vote. You know that features mine too. 12월 19일부터 한국의 시계는 다시 돌아가. 온 나라가 마법에 걸리면 바로 그날에 네 손끝에서 나와 후회 모든 결과가 아직 많은 친구들이 모르는 것 같아. 너와 내가 가진 이 파워 적을 뽑지 않기 위해서라도 싸워. 무관심한 국민이란 말도 아까워. 30년 전 누군 목숨을 바쳤지 한 표를 위해. 이젠 투표만 하면 뭐를 준대도 피해. 이 한 표는 3천만 원짜리. 네가 5년 동안 내 모든 세금에 같이 써. 기권은 중립이 아니야. 저 암묵적인 동조일 뿐. 투표라도 하란 말이야. 비판이든 비난이든 꼭 수는 가왜 하긴 나름이니까 아무것도 안 찍고 그렇게 대박을 바라지만 5년 동안 하려고 부러운 자리 종이 하나가 훨씬 강하고 무지막지 하다는 사실 너희들은 알까? 벌써 everybody 못해. 목소리를 내고 싶다면 너도 한 표 못해. 너와 내가 가진 이 파워 적을 뽑지 않기 위해서라도 싸워. 무관심한 국민이란 말도 아까워. It's yours but future is ours.
That's true. Wow.
Vote.
Wow.
Or just shut up.
Oh, I mean, he's not wrong if you think about it. 방탄소년단 blog, that's dope. Already controversial, right? Like in a really cool way, in the sense of like there's sometimes like being controversial just for the sake of it, and then like controversial with intention. Like there's a difference between the two, right? And so I really like how this was, and I was able to follow along and know this is about voting. He's not old enough to vote is what he said, but he could still share his perspective on it. And literally he said, you know, vote is yours, but the future is ours. Vote or just shut up. Like he's not inherently wrong. If you think about it, it's what right do you have if you have the power to vote to complain about results when you didn't do your part and vote yourself? Like that's 101. Does that make sense? So that you can apply that to any political, you know, voting pool of any kind. Like, so that's really cool that even though he wasn't old enough here, he can still leave an impact on his terms, which we are totally here for. And so out the gate, the fact he was even able to post this pre-debut on Bangtan's YouTube representing Big Hit, I find this so fascinating. A lot of companies don't allow this kind of stuff. So I feel like already there's a sense of freedom that BTS has in some ways, which honestly did contribute to their popularity and how they got more popular, because they took the unconventional route and they didn't play it safe. Sometimes high risk, high reward, right? It started from pre-debut here is what we're noticing here. That's cool. And I was able to follow along for the most part because they even had some really cool imagery. Like, we're totally here for that. Now, what's interesting though is isn't there there's a label, it's like 19 change, like this right here, no vote, no Christmas. Because this, it looks similar to G-Dragon's Peace -1 logo, right? So that's why, that's that red, no, that's the petal, that's the flower. G-Dragon's, like, coup d'etat, his looks similar to that. Interesting. Cool. All right, here we go. Next up, let's introduce Bangtan Room by 방탄소년단. Here we go. So we're gonna call him Rap Monster until we've made the transition. I feel like it's only right.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bangtan room. Yo, yeah. 시작해볼게. 방탄 room 소개. 어디부터 가볼까?
That's adorable. We love that.
명반 중에 명반 얼마나 멋지냐 그 옆에는 제이들러 모두들 꼽아 힙합 프로듀서 중 제일러 여기에는 마이클 잭슨 이래 첫 보기만 해도
Wow.
역시 많은 이들에게 영감을 줬지 그 위에는 임포스터 한때의 파괴를 들고 바로 그 전설의 monsters 그리고 check it out ASR10 아니 진보 내춘 적 없지 한때 왠지는 모르지만 가격도 착해 그 위에는 이 간지나는 데크들 탐내지 마라 전부 단종됐거든 그리고 여기에는 몇 개 없는 귀여운 피규어들 위에는 피규어가 하나 더 있지 Hey yo what's up Jim? What's up? Yeah Now this is myself Yo I'm a rap monster and I rap non-stop The revolution
So he's singing it live here.
And our name is 방탄소년단 힙합 좋아하는 애들 여기 모여봐 라리다리 We like to party 너를 위해 비워줄게 한 자리
Oh, I love it. So thus far, I mean, what's really cool is that RM, Rap Monster, he's always an advocate for Bangtan. Like, he's always one that's like, I'm not who I am without BTS. It kind of feels like that. Like, we're already having that connection, just like how he treats ARMY, right? It's a, we are nothing without ARMY. Like, he's like, I'm not as good of a leader without BTS. Like, it's really cool that already he's like, welcome to the Bangtan room. I'm Rap Monster. He was promoting big hit 방탄소년단 from the jump, from at least his first clip. Now, of course, he had his own tracks leading into getting into the space, but I'm assuming once the group was starting to get formed, he was all in for that, is what it feels like. And honestly, too, I think that was hilarious with the whole moment with Jen. That was really funny. If I needed somebody to write me a jingle or to do a room tour for my house, I'd absolutely ask him to do it. Like, that was so fun. Great. I mean, I can already hear the wordplay. Was he freestyling? I don't know. Good. I mean, there's a chance that maybe he already had it and he told the cameraman where he needed to pan when, right? But I think that was really, really fun. Honestly, that was so cool. Okay, here we go.
Big Hit exclusive.
Big Hit exclusive. 방탄소년들의 Choreographer.
Big Hit represent.
Oh my God, the babies! Goodbye, middle school. My God. This is adorable. He still sounds really similar, but I knew he was older too. 엄마. Adorable. That's cute. I'll clap. That was adorable. That was so fun. So yeah, J-Hope sounds similar now. I mean, like in more recent stuff compared to Jungkook. And then you didn't really get to focus as much on Jimin's vocals here, which is fine. But they look like straight up babies in the cutest way possible. Like, I'm like, oh my god. You guys, I love it. Jungkook out the gate. Goodbye. 안녕. Middle school. Bruh. That's funny. That was fun. That was really enjoyable. Okay. Here we go. This is 학교의눈물.
Big Kid exclusive.
Gosh. Who needs parent advisory? Just put Big Kid on it. That's fun.
방탄소년단.
학교.
Rap monster.
학교, 사회, 부모, 선생, 피해자, 가해자, 방관자, 방관자.
딱 하나의 컴플렉스. 그게 내 변명이었지. 그래도 모두한테 잘해줬어.
That's right. This is a whole era of wearing sunglasses. I remember that.
학교는 전쟁터 허점에 이건 학교나 사각의 윈 위에서의 나만의 싸움 누군가는 그저 발발에 대한 정답을 본이라겠지만 Oh I don't care 그건 어른들이니까 쉽게 할 수 있는 얘기
Feels like we're getting closer to debut because his hair, was it a fro he ended up going for? I think he has hair put in there. Wow.
반전은 없어. 연결실이라는 사각의 윙과 심판 없는 관객뿐인 경기자. You know 영원히 승자는 없어 모두 다.
Oh, hello, Jen.
승자는 없어 모두 다 지지. 연결실이라는 사각의 윙과 심판 없는 관객뿐인 경기자. You know 영원히 승자는 없어 모두 다 지지. 승자는 없어.
That's right. V may not be in any of these. Because he wasn't revealed until debut, is what the guide said, right? Look at me, already trying to apply everything. Maybe. Yeah. I was wondering when we were going to see SUGA. Hello. Nothing goes harder than zippers for your earrings.
이제 다른가 해자 학생들은 교실이란 우리 안에 같이 피해자 연결실이라는 사각의 윙과 심판 없는 관객뿐인 경기자.
If you like lips, this is a music video for you. You're so young. This is wild. Oh, we're just all wrong at the end. Okay. That was fun. I love it. Put the freak. I remember when I would make YouTube videos way back. It was like 2015. That you don't get links. Like you don't have links. You don't have end screens and all the stuff that you have now. Nah, that's why you don't see any of it here. The watermark's there that you see in the bottom, but it's because it's a setting you can do on your YouTube channel. I know y'all probably don't care about this, but that's why that newer thing is there. It's because that's just put on all the videos no matter what, because it's formatted off the YouTube studio, not off the video. So here, they could add a link now, but here, nah, you just had to put this here and you just had to have that saved and open up a new tab and type it in. It's what you had to do, right? So this was really fascinating. Now, being honest, if I didn't have the guide, and let's say I just watched this, stumbled upon this and watched this, it looked pretty cringe, if I'm being honest. Like, because if you don't know anything about anybody and you're just going off of a fit, you're like, I don't know, who's this who's this guy wearing this ball cap trying to look cool? Like, sometimes it can come across like that. And then also I know there's BTS is always, as every group does, you go through controversy. Some things are going to be through lyricism. I know we're going to encounter that in the marathon. I get that. And I already have what I'm going to say when we encounter those things. When it comes to like his hair here, what I look at here is I know that BTS, especially RM and J-Hope, so I will say with those two, I can attest to this. Those two have shown action outside of their word, like more like they've said it with their word, but they've also followed through on it when it comes to when people hold them accountable to things. They, like with, let's say, like misogynistic lyrics, RM takes the time to actually like learn and grow from it. That's, to me, what I'm looking forward to seeing in the marathon, is seeing areas like hair. Is that a healthy thing for his hair? I'm going to tell you, probably not, because his hair is not the type of texture that makes that kind of braid work effectively. Like, I don't know what kind of damage had to happen, because his hair's not naturally like that, in order for that to stay. For me, when I got box braids, like about 10 years ago, my hair texture couldn't hold the braid, and so it lasted not even a week, and that was like, I was so devastated. But also too, it's like, it's learning about your hair. Sometimes certain hairstyles, there are religious meanings behind getting certain styles done. If anything, I hope it just promotes the conversation of being curious about, that hairstyle is really cool. Why do I notice that as a pattern in a certain demographic, right? It's a very interesting thing to uncover, right? So with RM, Rap Monster here, in this case, I don't know the back end on what he chooses to appreciate or not. I can tell that he really cares about the hip hop culture. He cares about Black culture. You can see it with who he collaborates with. You can see how he structures his music, his flow, his word choices. I can see the intention and genuinity behind it. And so I see the effort. And so that's why, for me, I don't look at what he's doing here, because I know what I know now going into this pre-debuts. Back then I may feel different. That's life. I grow too, right? But I know the intention is not ill intent, like it's a cool fashion choice. It's a mix of, I respect the culture and I want to showcase it in this way. Does that make sense? Like, I can see that. I can see an appreciation attempt, but I can see it look appropriated. Does that make sense? It's all just to promote conversation. So for me, I'm like, I understand this era. It's 2013. There are so many things of this era, not just with BTS, with so many groups and it's still a topic today on Reddit. Like, you see it all the time on Reddit, where there are people who do it out of fashion for the sake it looks cool for a concept. I see RM trying to, like, this is part of his life. He was an underground rapper. Like, this is part of his life. But I also know too, as you start to, as an artist, learn more about like your isms. For me, I like wearing hoops, and how I do my hair. There's certain parts about doing my hair that feel like me. And then there's other things where it's like, I want to try that out of curiosity. Like, there's beauty in that too. But when you're in the public eye, that it's really hard to kind of see things from a curious standpoint. A lot of times people will judge what somebody looks like just from a glance. Does that make sense? So I don't know his true intention, and that's okay, because I feel like there's probably, at this point, we should probably know, right? And also, this is, I also like glean the comments too, just so I can kind of understand what we're looking at. It's about school bullying or just bullying is what the pretext, like of this, because I watched a documentary about it. So that's what I'm clocking here. Cool. Exciting stuff. All right, here we go. Now this is Jimin. I think we get to officially, I'm rolling on my sleeves here. Not really, but looking forward to seeing what this is right here. He looks really tall because of where the camera's angled. Look at that head ISO. Come on, sir. This is adorable. He puts a lot of his weight on his heels, which causes him to want to stagger back. Okay, let's talk about it. So he's doing a lot of boogalooing fundamentals in this. So he does a little Millie Rock throw. I don't even know if Millie Rock was even popular around this time. I don't even know, but I liked a little throw there. So he's doing some pops on that. Pop, and the second one causes the head to rotate. This is very unrefined, but I know this, guys. Like, I know going in, there's going to be so many areas that we're going to touch on that I know are going to look so different in a couple of years. And, I mean, because they've been around for a long time. So there's certain things that he's able to do now that are going to be, like, a complete, like, 360 and a half. Like, I'm so excited for this. But a lot of his choices, you can see where intentionally we're adding a chest and adding a shoulder, which a lot of times grooving, when it comes to boogalooing or popping, groove is vital. Like, you can't, it's not authentic. It's not an authentic representation of you as a mover if you don't groove in it. Does that make sense? So whenever he's doing choreo, even in choreo, having a groove really allows it to make it your own, right? Just like we talked about texture in other choreographic elements. So whenever you're doing popping, you can see him use his shoulders, but you can see immediately as soon as we kind of revert away from this, he locks it up. And that's something that you're going to notice a lot with a lot of K-pop groups. They lock up their torsos because they're singing. Right? So that's definitely the first thing that goes away. I'm expecting it a lot here because of the era of choreography as well. And then you're going to see a shift. I'm going to notice a shift too whenever you see them use this a lot more. Okay? And I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm knowing with Jimin, that's what we're clocking here when you're learning styles, right? So that right there, you saw his torso be used, but it was more of a choreography transition than an actual groove. So I like the little pop there. You can also see we're not being very clear and readable when we're choosing to pop. A pop is an explosion of a muscle group, right? So it's a pop, right? And then you have dime stops, which is your muscles are engaged and you're stopping on a dime is what the concept of it is, right? So he's not really doing that. He's doing more pops, but I like the pop there, and you have that around, and I like how he stops it there. So that was a good, decent pop. But it doesn't have a lot of connection to when he pops in the body with popping with the arms. You know what I mean? So he comes up to reset. Now it was fun. So he hits it here. This is a very basic head ISO. Basic doesn't mean like easy. It takes time. It's a fixed point integration, because what you're doing is when you do a head, this has to now give the impression that it's not moving anymore, right? So this was one of the first head ISOs I've ever learned, was this one. And this one. I love doing this one. It's such a good party trick too, side note. If you want to do something that's like, once you have it, and it's really cool to go to Meemaw's barbecue and show it to the uncles, I mean, that's a great move. So what he's doing is he's setting it up, he's taking his head over, and then you're going to take the shoulders, they're going to go the same, make a little parenthesis, like a half circle. But what has to happen is my head has to go in opposition. It has to move the other direction, but not as far as my shoulders. So it needs to look locked in place. It's not a dislocation thing. It looks that way. That's the illusion, right? You're an illusionist. It's like magicians, right? The magicians of street dance. So you notice here, his are pretty good so far. That's fun there, right? And then he goes over. Now that was all great. Then he rings it in. Da-da-da-da. My gut tells me he was supposed to like fix point it when he folds it, right? So that's what that felt like there. And then right there, that could have been a little bit more refined. It could just be because of how far over he was hinged and how far he pushed back. He let this come up a little too much, but that's fine though. Remember, for this, this is such a vibe for me. You guys have no idea. I love getting to look at pre-debut stuff because I know he's going to pop the freak off on so many ways in the future. It's going to be so cool. The hinge around's really fun. So he grabs, notice that he's like, okay, I'm like in place here. And he ends up hinging to get lower. So that's nice. I always want to tell my dancers to be mindful of the knees. You don't want to have too much pressure that presses down towards the floor. So he's doing he's pretty decent. It's all about like, it's fine with the age he's at, but if he's like 35 and he wants to pull this, you have to be mindful of your knees because what feels fine when you're 18, it'll feel the same when you're 28. I'm telling you, 10 years will make a world of a difference on your body. So from there, that right there, I think it's supposed to be more clear on the press and down the opposition of the arm. So it wasn't quite the clearest there, which is fine. And then from there, not quite sure if he was trying to wave the hands or if he was trying to go from the elbows to it. So those would be, like, I would say, we're just going to leave him here. I'm going to say there's a really good chance that he's going to have more readability and clarity of his sequences that he's doing. Even though it's choreography is meant to be read legibly. Right now we're missing some grammatical transitions in our choices is kind of what we're going to call this here. which makes me excited. So he ends up doing waves. Notice his right, it looks to our left if we mirror it, but his right has more, it's a little bit more full than the left. The left, it doesn't feel like it's his dominant side, possibly. So watch, right? So you could tell he kind of cut it off on the left side a little bit much. But I liked how he kept his head away. That was cool because it allowed you to focus on the arms. He comes up, like the fullness on that is fun. Then he goes to a little Superman. Notice he's locked up now in his torso, which is, it's just what happens. When you learn choreography, you don't think to work on your torso unless you're forced to, unless your teacher tells you to, if you didn't come from like a social scene or you didn't come from learning it organically on the street. Like that's like real. So like even there, we're going heavy extremities. So when I talk about this is that he's not using his back for a lot of power. He's using his arms. He's using the extremities. So the arms and the legs to make moments happen, not letting the back, because you could see two things. Firstly, there's going to be more power in the accents that he ends up going with. Like a throw, you're going to see way more power. You're also going to see the torso and the chest get involved because you can't really use your back on a throw if you're not letting your chest supplement in some way or move in order to allow that energy to be pushed forward. So that's how you can tell. And then he has a little box after reset, so he's also dancing more internalized here too. He goes and resets down on like the head throw there. And I wonder if gaining stage experience or like getting used to dancing in front of a camera, sometimes when you dance in front of a camera, that's your body is going to modify how it receives, like a response to movement. It happens. For me, it took me quite a few dance takes to get comfortable with dancing in my kitchen. Now, normally people don't dance in their kitchens, but that's where I have the comfort of learning routines at home, not having to go to the studio every time to do a dance cover and film it. It's just more comfortable. But if I needed a lot of room, I've learned enough about myself and my movement quality when I go full out on whether or not I need to go somewhere else. So all that to say, learning and exposing yourself in front of a camera, it takes time and learning how like a certain shot's going to look in order for you to get comfortable with going more full. And because whenever you become an idol or whenever you're a performer, you tend to become more comfortable in certain styles depending on the choreography that you're given throughout the time period, which is something that I've seen already. I've seen the influences of his choreographers past on his movement quality. So I am so excited. Like this feels like he's doing choreography. How he moves now, it feels like Jimin. Like it feels like this is how Jimin is taking ownership of his track. And that's what you want. That's a very healthy goal to have, right? So I like the cross on that. We go a little switch up. Notice we're still very upright. We're not allowing the body to get involved on those choices like we were intentionally trying to in the beginning. Go and reset. Nice little shoulders on that was cute. The hit. Look at that. Look at that little hat. Nice little tip tap toe. It's fun. You cross it over. We're not, even though the track you could pull like a crump posture, he's not doing crump. Or if he is, he's not showcasing the posture for. I mean, if anything, maybe the lower half, if that. But it just feels like choreo. He's doing choreo. He's doing all of the words, right? But you know how words, when you have the tone, it changes the meaning of it. Or if you have them, if you miss a comma, it can feel like a completely different sentence. That's what we're going to kind of encompass this as, is that he has the words, but the sequence doesn't have the flow that you would want it to ideally have to appreciate why we chose the words that we did in our movement, right? So the accent there's fine. We set it to the back and he hits it there. That was cute. Thank you for that, Jimin. Makes me excited to see you become more comfortable in this specific style. So this style is different than who had that more like Keone flair. Now I don't think Keone choreographed it. That's fine. I'm saying it had that nuance, not like standing next to you, but there's like a crisp staccato polyrhythmic intention behind it, which was really nice. And that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing. This is more of like more popping heavy in the sense of where it's very clear that these are certain skills that you train in at times if you want to get better at certain botting techniques, animation techniques, isolations, and popping. So we're here for this. All right, next up, we have JUNGKOOK this time, and he's wearing a knockoff. He's wearing Channel, not Chanel. Look at them now. Pre-debut, they're pulling the dupes. But now they are sponsored by the companies, like by the brands. I don't think he's with Chanel. He's with Calvin Klein. Like, boy, pop off. That's a real flex. Come on now. Love it. Take your time. Set it up. Hello. Yes, speech changes. Very clear. He reminds me of the West Coast community dance cruise. That's exactly what this feels like. Yeah. He has a great understanding of speed changes so far. Very nice. Beg your pardon. Okay, so fun. Choreographer is Kyle Hanagami, which actually, side note, hold on. Okay, I needed to double check Jimin's to know if there was a choreographer in the description. It was a hard crump remix though. I didn't know that, so it makes sense because of the type of track it was. But anyway, JUNGKOOK, Kyle Hanagami. This is actually like, he did pretty well. I'm here for this. Okay. Also, I do know there's one called Bait. I'm excited for that one. Out of all of them, I know Bait the most. In familiarity. But right here, I like the fact that we're not moving at all. We're not doing anything. We're just waiting until it's time for us to begin, or we're going to insert ourselves whenever it's appropriate. I really like moments like that. It's fun. But I know he didn't want to engage until it's time to start the choreo. So that works. Now, something I'm noticing with JUNGKOOK, he has really good speed changes. He goes, drops down, boom. Really good contrast of his leg to his upper body, because if you notice, whenever his leg is pressing down, we look at range. Range is different than timing. I mean, in timing, it works. Whether you have one move that starts at A and it finishes at B, so like here to here, but how long it takes you to get from here to here, this mess right here, that's called range. And that can really enhance your synchronicity by cleaning how you get to your points, focal points in your choreo. So if you look at his torso in this moment, you're going to see that his torso matches range to his leg, right? They go down, up, and they still have that lingering effect until it's ready for the next movement. He has good connection of movements in this beginning. It's nice. He has a little wave on that. Come on. Thank you. Through the fingers, drops down and up. And then we have from here a contrast. He's tracing it down the thigh to the side and with a lift up of the arm. Come on now. And then from there, ding, he hits the ding, boom, and doesn't let this move. So that helps as a fixed point. Boom. You don't want this ISO to influence what this is if this is supposed to be a picture moment. Do you know what I mean? So that's really good. He looks over, and then you have the ding there. It did look like he was a little early there, though. Oh, hold on. Going back. No, he was good. He was good. That was cool. And then he let this arm drop as the second one happened. And he ends up doing it a third time. So I appreciate that we ended up hitting all three. Sometimes people ignore a third. So good job, Kyle Hanagami, honestly. I like that we actually recognized that sound and did a follow through on all three. That's cool. Now you have this boom, doom, doom, doom. So there's this extra build in the track. So the movement needs to match it, but also how you execute it needs to match it too. Your toe needs to adjust. So now it looks like we're still locked up in our torso. That's what happens sometimes, though. That's something I'm totally expecting. Not a shocker. We know we get better at it. Absolutely, JUNGKOOK gets better at it. I have analyzed 7. I've looked at standing next to you. I'm very aware of his recent movement quality. He's fine, right? So if we're looking at JUNGKOOK right here, if I was in the room and we're touching on how to make him look more natural, all of these choices, letting this have a push and pull about it because of this pulse that's going on. You want it to have something. You want to have breath. You want to have something that recognizes this pulse in the track, right? And when you think pulse, a lot of times you think heartbeat. So letting the heart get involved a lot of times, right? Because right now it feels now we've gone extremity to hit the movements. We still have dynamics, but we're not allowing there to be breath and life into the movement, right? So that's a texture thing. That is always harder to clean or harder to do as a mover learning other people's choreography, especially if it's not new, like it doesn't rest well in your body normally like other styles. It takes time, right? And this, if anything, it just shows you the power of time and perseverance and continuing to subject yourself to growth and learning. That's what I love to see. The fact that we know that this is so much better and they're not stuck in their ways speaks volumes on their character. It speaks volumes on their work ethic, and it speaks volumes on the journey itself that we have the privilege of being on. So right there, the pull around is fine. He brushes out, so like the accent there, and they go da da da, really nice. So, but notice the focal points we're noticing are more arms and legs versus seeing how the arms and the legs are communicating with each other, right? Because we don't have the body allowing that bridge to happen, right? So that was nice. So it's movement, good little traces on that. He has really good speed changes, meaning going from fast fast to slow, creating tension from really like sharp staccato moments. He does good on that, which is a really good skill to have. So he has good dynamics, but we want to have a good texture because texture showcases you as an artist. But in pre-debuts and debut works, you don't see it as often. Most marathons I've done, you don't see it. You see them following directions. I get it. But the switch up there is fine. Click, click up. That's fine. Notice we're still locked up in the torso. And it goes high, mid, low. We have a pulse going on with the leg. We love it. Shout out to the fans. Come on now. Telling you. And the swing over. Boom. And I like the wrist rotation here. It's fun. Then he lets the head be influenced off of that, which is nice. And then we just let the head have his movement. And then we moved forward with our legs. We switch upper. Now this right here. That was pretty decent. Hold on. The turnout of it was nice. He fixed pointed the head. That's what helps create a really fun illusion. The drop down, I like from there. He's very clear on his legs on that moment. And then we come up. Then we go on, which is also nice. Now, I do know Kyle Hanagami's movement quality. He does have, he doesn't groove a lot. Like, as much. His dancers, it just depends on the dancer, and they get to really make it their own. He has a really good, like, framework choreo style that you can really take and make your own. I've seen that. I've taken his class before. It's very precise. It's good for tours. I'm being completely honest, right? If you know, Blackpink's earlier works was a Kyle stuff. So you can add a lot to it, right? So that was cool. Boom, 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 boom. So that was a cool moment. They dropped down and you have that rum, and then we fixed point rotation again. We walk, like the high-low, we go out in. But it does feel like once again, we're still heavily focused on the arms, and we're not letting there to be life. Like, we're not enjoying the music. We're just dancing to it. And the switch up there is nice. The pull also is nice. He does a good job filling up the music, which is good. Sometimes people rush. Sometimes people take too long. He knows how long to hold things before moving on to the next thing. So his phrasing is pretty good. The pull away is nice. The crisscross is fun to pick up there. Nice little crisscross again. He steps, he pulls away. Yeah, hits hoppa over. And then we have the elbows, boom, boom. He ends up looking. Yeah, so he lets this move, but he doesn't let this move. So we're getting closer. I would say over time we're going to start having this be open, and then we're going to let this be used more and more. The more familiar you get with choreo, the more your choreographer grows as a choreographer too. You all get to grow together. That's always good. Step outs are nice. Wave down, up, and then we speed change again. Just like you saw, it's the same little like bookend that you saw him do in the beginning, and then you have this boom. Little accent at the end. Come on. Boom, boom, pardon. Cool. So he did pretty decent. He should be proud of that run. I mean, that's great. I know if he looked back at it, he'd be like, oh, bless it, you know? But hey, we always got to start somewhere. I got some receipts of big old blessings from Jess. If y'all saw like me when I was his age, I wasn't that refined at all. So I'm telling you, you can only get better, but you have to subject yourself to the growth of it. It's not an overnight process as you're seeing here. Love it. And of course, BTS.I, big hit. You know what? Oh, does that still exist? Hold on. Just thought you should know. They still own it. That is actually, I'm very impressed with the fact they upkept the domain and no one took it. That's impressive. Good job. Good job. We're here for it. Okay, moving on though. This one is Bait by Jimin. I really like this choreo. It's by Lyle Beniga. I remember when I watched it, the original, his actual little concept shoot. I love this choreo. This is one of Lyle's most popular choreos if you've like seen him for a long time. Come on, come on. Bait, bait. Oh man, that choreo was fun. So he actually handled a Lyle pocket quite well. And when it comes to like the difference between this and the first one had a heavy boogalooing, popping fundamental standpoint from it. This one is more of, there's more rigidness. Lyle doesn't use a ton of his torso, which works in his favor. Which for me, I actually recommend this to dancers sometimes is finding choreographers that you feel like, that feels like me. Like, I really enjoy that. Because sometimes how you're dancing and how you're moving, finding choreography that matches where you're currently moving will set you up for more success mentally sometimes, but then also learning choreography that forces you to learn how to use your torso in a different way, forces you in that drill mode of like, I can't do this choreo if I can't even get the sequence right of this groove that is in it, you know. But a lot of people, it's just a different skill set as a dancer. Like, they're learning choreos. I bet you they didn't have, I don't think they had Lyle there teaching it. I don't know any of that, but they probably pulled it from YouTube. Just like I watch K-pop routines, dance practice, fixed cams, and I just learn it from it that way. It's visual learning, right? It's a different skill set than auditory and kinesthetic. So for me too, this is a really good skill for them to help on choreography retention. Also allows them the opportunity to be exposed to different genres and styles, different choreographers. This is a different choreography than the first one. Lyle did not choreograph that first one. I would be very surprised. That's not his wheelhouse that he normally operates in movement. This is such a freaking bread and butter. I love it. But yeah, this whole beginning, he did very, very well. He set it up, was nice. Rotation's nice. A little go-go. Notice he had a really nice setup. Boom, boom. With his torso for that. That was cool. That right there, how he hits it. He got this pretty on it because it's mostly about the forearm for that than it is about the... Yeah, like hit it, like the phrasing of it. It's how this transitions out of it. So that's cool. He crosses behind. Then he ends up doing a little twist out on the heels, which is fun. Then switch it over. Now that didn't feel super clear, that second hand, right? That one right there. And the cross, that was nice. And look at the power he had on that. Come on now. Pushes it back. Da-da-da-da. He comes up. We're going forward. All day, baby. And we cross palace flow. That's an ISO. Oh, we love it. Then they rotate it through, it's fine. All this is fine. The flow, you want the flow to finish out. It felt like he cut it off a smidge. High to low. This, oh man, I love this. I love this choreo. Turn around. It was ahead of its time, and I still say that. It was either 2009 or 2011 when he made it. Even I can even cite that. Like, it was way ahead of its time. I love how he syncopated on this track. So fun. Then it's a little... Bait. It's just fun. It's like all different, like the whole imagery and wordplay of the choreo is that you have like a fishing rod and the bait is like I'm tossing bait out. Not the song, but I'm saying that's how the structure of the choreo looks to Lyle. He's never verified or maybe he did. I'm just going off of what it looks like and how it's always looked. It's literally a lot of reeling in. And normally when you associate bait with a reeling in, it's like a fishing pole with bait on it, right? So all that would be my note. Let's see that right there. Boom, boom. So rotating it up. I think we could have just a smidgen more clarity. It feels like from here, transitioning from here to here wasn't as readable, right? I wouldn't have been able to pick up on that if he didn't have hit up, down, like actually making it a really clear path. So his intro, though, was really nice. Normally what does happen, lived experience and watching it many times, especially in the convention circuit, you notice this when people learn choreo, the intros tend to be really clean or really full, and then you get to see holes and movement quality near that middle to the end because you're dealing with fatigue of the brain, you're dealing with when you're continue to sit in a sequence or a movement quality that you may not be 100% proficient in, you spend time focusing over here and then focusing right here. It's just a lot on the brain to think about, right? So your brain prioritizes things. So I'm saying the beginning was really well done for this pocket, right? So that right there, moving it around, it wasn't a bit clear. I think he did a little glide over to the back, right? Hitting over. Yeah, it goes bay. There's not as much attack. Here we're focusing more on the arms and the legs. Again, not allowing the back. He let the back happen a little bit, right? So all that there. It's supposed to be like petty. Just like it was that he did earlier. So this feels like we're really pushing energy. It's very loud in energy versus that little bay, like you vibing, right? So that's a style choice though, right? And then he goes punch, low, mid, high. On that, it's fine. He salutes there. Good for him. Honestly, it goes back to, like I said, there's a lot of these choreos they're doing when I was their age. I mean, because I am around their age. So I'm like in between. I was born 96. So JUNGKOOK is a year younger than me. And then everybody else is older. So I don't know if any of them were born my year. That's cool. But side note being, when I was their age, I wasn't able to pull that at all. You know, so good for them for having the space to try to navigate through those styles. So like we're totally here for this. We love it. Like this is a really good starting point, if I'm being honest. For sure. Okay, here we are. It's J-Hope, Jimin, and Jungkook. V is still, that is sad. We don't really get a V pre-debut as much as with everybody else. He's a secret. Very interesting. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. Wait, that's Rap Monster. These are all different takes. So it's the same. So it's literally 3 different takes is what this is. Oh. Oh, man. This is technically my first J-Hope pre-debut. Wow. Oh, Jen. Watching Jen try to be hard is really fun, actually. J-Hope has groove. That's the difference between them. Fun. Okay, here we go. So, yeah. So we're going to focus more so on J-Hope for this. But then, of course, we have my other two. It's because we hadn't had any, like, I don't have any J-Hope stuff yet. Like, I have one more that has J-Hope in it, but... yeah, let's talk about it. So, remember what I said about Jimin and Jungkook? They didn't have a lot of groove. If you look at how J-Hope does the movements that you see them pull extremity on, meaning they pull energy from the arm, and he pulls from the back and the chest, you're to see how it resonates differently. All this here, so let's talk through. So everyone has their own little charisma moment. Yeah, look at that. Do you see what he's using? He's not holding it out like this. He's using this. So subtle, but it works. Right? Look what he's doing, guys. Oh my God. I can get with that. And I'm actually really happy I've already looked at Hope in the Street. That's technically a inside look on J-Hope's pre-debut journey. Like through the eyes of those that have lived with him. Like that were amongst him in that time. Does that make sense? But also him discovering and being honest about his feelings and that kind of stuff. So it was really fun. So that little vroom vroom. Notice clear on the arms, but we're not showing any torso for that. We're bringing it through. Yeah, that's click. Nice, very clear and intentional there. Bring it through. That, the reason why people use the chest is because it was part of the choreography, not because of the essence of it. So rotating it through, hit. He's using a pop accent there with the chest. The lift over there. Notice this. They're going shoulders. He's adding the chest in. Watch. Yeah, he's adding a bounce too. Everybody else I think is more rigid. Watch. Right. If you notice Jungkook, click up because you have that ta-ta-ta. But J-Hope's adding a bounce. Why? He's adding his own style to it, which is cool. For this purpose, we love it. Now, when it comes to K-pop dance practices, there is a natural expectation that people look at for a group that's known for synchronicity. That would be something that you would want to look for as a cleaner. If you know the group you're working with is known for cleanliness, firstly, they must already have a process to get it clean. We know this. Secondly, if you want the group that's clean to also have groove and also have rock and bounce when it calls for it, you got to touch on when they're rocking and bouncing naturally or when it's happening and when it looks organic, genuine, and natural and authentic to the concept they're doing in order for that to work, right? In order for that to actually be productive to where you can be clean but also have groove and also have individuality. Those things, you can have both exist. Do you know what I mean? So I'm excited for this. Talk about it. So he's having a bounce in all this. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, $20,000. They all push their head forward a little bit, which is nice. They go high to low, which is also nice to reset it down. Cool. Jungkook goes, whoop-ha! They all explode out of it. Part of me wants a Gen cam for this. Oh, man, I really want to see that. So notice that. Boom. He's letting the chest go. It's not cut off. A lot of times when people do like a Superman, they let the body be cut off because it helps on the speed. It gets you to do the move, but you can retract quickly. Going out and pushing out's risk-taking because it takes more. It takes you having to go further to reset. So I like the fact that you see that there with J-Hope. Rotating it through. We have some high shoulders coming out of Jungkook as well. He dances his shoulders lifted a little bit. Dancers do that sometimes. I have dancers that I'm like, yo, lower your shoulders. You're putting too much tension here. It happens. Just like sometimes there's dancers that look down when they're under adrenaline. Some of them, their eyes wander. It really just depends on the person. For me, I overcompensate with my arms when I feel insecure about a section. It helps me fill in space. So now you're going to notice it. It happens sometimes when I want to like add a little something because I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this move or I'm tired. That's just what happens. It's my go-to. So now here on the setup, yep, so he takes in a nice little knockdown. Notice, ooh, I'm glad this is paused here. He's letting the head actually be influenced by this, by actually letting the back get involved. He's keeping it locked here. That's how you can tell there. Cool. Yeah, he goes, pray God you see me. His is very placed. His is very, pray God you see me, like he's hitting on the tone. And he goes, look. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Whoops. Yeah, so if you look here, he's letting his torso get involved. When you practice popping, boogalooing, you groove. That's part of it. The push of the back. Notice we let the body get pushed away from it. And then from there, they go down and up. Love it. Urban Empire. I have not seen Urban Empire fit sweats and God knows how long. That's like, goodness. That's fun. This is funny. I love it. And they all have these little accent points we kind of hinge around, which is fun. They go out. Nice little party moment. Everyone gets to do a really fun thing. Not everybody goes scoop up, scoop up. From here, you notice directionally, he's able, it could just be vantage point. He's able to lean more into it. I mean, we see more of a full hinge happening here. He's doing a little, circular vibe on it, but he's actually allowing the shoulders to drop a little bit more. So it feels louder, feels more full, because it is more full. High to low. Look at that. Ugh, thank you. Yeah, hit it up, and then we go and we toss it down. And here's why it's important to touch on this. It's important to recognize what J-Hope has in quality and movement. This is really, really cool benchmark. This is not, I'll put it this way. All the things that we're noticing with Jimin and Jungkook, I have a feeling even before the pre-debut era of this, J-Hope already navigated through. So it's not like he was absent of that. He already navigated through it earlier before we got these receipts. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that J-Hope is exempt from the same notes. I just don't have the footage, right? So here, though, we're already seeing there's certain things that are already implicit, meaning lived in. And that's going to be something you're going to notice with the group as a whole. There's going to be certain choreographic sequences, styles of movement, concepts, syncopation, polyrhythms are going to become second nature for them. You can see it in their most recent stuff. Things they don't have to think about because they had to do the time to learn how to get their body to do it naturally, on demand, without even having to think about it. That's being implicit with it. They're still in the state of explicit, where they're still learning, but then you have J-Hope, who's already lived through it, and it's already there, so he doesn't have to think about it as much. There's other things that he has to think through, right? He's not just on autopilot. He's thinking about different things on the priority list. Top priority is making it look natural. What he's doing is the sequences that you see, how they're structured, having a groove in it or having yourself in it makes it more authentic. It doesn't look robotic. It doesn't look mechanical. You don't want street dance to show up as mechanical unless you're doing botting or robot or animation. Then that makes sense as concept. You don't want it to look like that when you're trying to pull an authentic groove and flow. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm really digging the fact that we're able to see that here with J-Hope. And I'm excited for others to meet him there, but also continue to see him excel in other areas because he has this in his arsenal already. How do they not have a Vans like sponsorship? I mean, look at that. Come on. Throwdown is nice. We're fun. It'll pick up a nice little little scuff happening there. We reset. Really fun. And then you have Jungkook just kind of sitting there. You have it a little bit more pressed in, more individualized for that moment. That's fun. We drop low. Nice. We're here for it. Nothing crazy there. Oh, are those chachi pants? No. Those look like tuxedo. No, they're not tuxedo style. Like nappy tabs. Maybe they are. Lord, I have no idea. Anyway, so the energy there. This is so coded for a very particular niche of fashion. And this in the when you take dance class, like there's these certain fashion brands like nappy tabs, Urban Empire, Movement Lifestyle stuff, which is what you see there. Lord help us. Okay, this was really cool. This was cool. I really liked seeing the comparison between all of them because it makes me excited when you see that gap shorten. But you have to recognize the gaps there. Totally fine. Okay, next up, J-Hope, Jungkook. Hold on. B-Boy. B-Boy. Okay, I'm game. Let's go. What's this? Ha 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 ha. This is fun. All Brooklyn's top rocks. That's funny. That's funny. That was funny. Now it's Jungkook's time. Go, Jungkook, go. Wow, go, go. That's actually pretty decent. Push-ups. So this is more like a funny video. Nice with a freeze finish. Boy, he's trying to do a chair freeze. Bangtan style. That was cute. So yes, I do know, I don't believe J-Hope really studied breaking as much as he did popping, right? He did locking as well, Campbell locking. He has explored house and of course hip hop, but in like hip hop, breaking technically is hip hop, if you think of it that way. It's a pillar of the basis of the culture. So this was fun. We're not really going to analyze it. I think that was genuinely for fun. I mean, what he ends up doing, if you want to talk about overview, he's doing top rocks. That's a cross step. Then he ends up doing, what is it, like a kick, just a little heel twist on that. Then he goes, this is a little Brooklyn, not even Brooklyn top rock, but I think it's just fun. It's fun. I think this was, meant to be fun because what ends up happening when he ends up dropping, you think he's about to like pop up, but he ends up doing like he goes onto his stomach and he ends up doing a butt spin going onto the stomach and then doing like if you have a knife, and then he ends up nice little fun freeze. Now a freeze is a fun way to punctuate the end of your breaking set. That's what you end up seeing a lot of times. And I love from there we even kept grabbing the camera, Jungkook's time. Now looking at Jungkook, actually how he phrased his top rocks is pretty decent. It's really nice. And he goes, boom, one. And then we go into push-ups, as one does. I bet their push-ups look great now because of military service, right? And then he goes into a freeze. That's adorable. I think this is a fantastic. And then he flips it over to a freeze. Cute. Bangtan style. With the knockoff Chanel Channel, something along those lines. Or maybe there is a brand called Channel. Maybe. I don't know. But that was fun. I enjoy that little gimmick, that humor. All right, here we are. The debut trailers. So the last little thing that we're going to look at. It's technically the pre-debut. They are not debuted yet in the marathons. This is really fun. Do we have? We don't. Okay. The old school big hit bumper. It's fun. It's fun.
We're now going to progress to some steps which are a bit more difficult. Ready, set, and begin.
Oh, cool. Too cool for school. We don't even spell it right. Look, he's making all the jingles. Bulletproof Boy Scouts. 방탄소년단. Love it. I love it. Oh, look at the logo. Absorb. We're here for it. Yeah, this was great, guys. I had a lot of fun just benchmarking just a couple of members. And yes, there's so many other members. We're really clocking. We're going to be looking at Rap Monster and in Jen's movement quality progression, because they're going to have some amazing growth from where they're starting. It's going to be fantastic. You guys know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.